Hey everybody, welcome to BIC, the show where we talk, you listen, and you also probably disagree. I'm Liam Quinn.
And I'm John Dowling. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We're talking Phil Jackson's offseason, Tom Brady's suspension, and the Yanks and the Mets at the deadline. Quinny, I'll tell you what, man, I'm coming off a vacation. I'm feeling tan. I'm feeling well-rested. You're not ready for me today.
I don't know about tan, but let's get into the first highlight. Let's get it started. It is the Mets and the Reds in Queens. Let's meet the Mats. Steven Matz, Major League debut. First batter, Brandon Phillips. Uh-oh. Horrible way to start your career. That's a home run. They would review it, but it was upheld. But then Matz would bite back in a big way. He can rake. That's a 2-run double over the head of Billy Hamilton. The Mets would take the lead, and Matz would do his day job. That's pitch. First up would be Brandon Phillips, and he would get his revenge. Strikeout. Joey Votto, strikeout. Next is Todd Frazier. He says, "Sit down, Frazier. I preferred watching Cheers." Matz would pitch 7 2/3 dominant innings, 3 for 3 at the plate, 4 runs batted in. Quite the debut for the Iron Mats. All right, let's get into the topics. Our first one is Phil Jackson's offseason, president of the Knicks, getting a lot of flack for drafting Latvian big man Kristaps Porzingis, but I don't really think he deserves much of this criticism.
Look, I think at the end of the day, this kid's a project. I'm not going to say he's not going to succeed in the league, but his weight is a big question mark, and I think Phil needs to look at the full scope of what he's doing.
Look, Jahlil Okafor was off the board, and Porzingis, I think, is a good choice. He's going to be good in the future. The Knicks are not a team that can win a championship this year.
I think this sends a weak message to free agents that are going to come in. Look, the safe pick here was Justice Winslow. He's a Coach K guy.
So Winslow's a rookie too. They're both unproven. You can't say that he's going to be so much better than Porzingis.
But see, I think that this guy he's a good scorer. He's a solid defender. You put in, look at the projected lineup. You get Jerry and Grant, Aflalo, Justice Winslow, Melo, and Robin Lopez. And by the way, Robin Lopez at $54 million.
Look, they have to give money. They can't wow people with the thrill of New York anymore because they're not a good team. They have to give out a little extra money. Lopez is a solid player.
You know, I can't pity your insanity any longer. Next topic.
I'm insane, Jesus.
Tom Brady is waiting his appeal on a suspension. Quinny, what do you feel is the right way to do in this situation?
Look, the fact of the matter is Tom Brady broke a rule. I'm not saying it's the greatest rule, and 4 games suspension might be a little excessive, but he broke a rule, and he's a star. He should still be punished.
Okay, stars. You want stars? How about league MVP Aaron Rodgers? He overinflated footballs, and his punishment, he has all the same criteria. He's hiding it from the refs, he's tampering with balls, and it's an unfair advantage over the opponent.
Look, I agree that it's an unfair advantage. The sad thing is, Rodgers didn't get caught. Brady did. If Rodgers got caught, he should be punished too.
He admitted to it. It's the same thing. And look, in the Wells report, don't even get me started on the Wells report.
We can talk about the Wells report for hours. What it says is Brady broke a rule, and if that's the criteria you're judging by, you have to punish him, whether it's 1 game or 4 games.
I think it should just be a big fine. I mean, this guy is hired by the NFL. He's not going to give.
I mean, that's crazy. A fine's not going to do anything for Brady. I mean, he's a playboy. He gets everything he wants. All right, finally, let's get into the MLB trade deadline. The Mets and the Yankees both in the heat of the playoffs races. What should they do?
You know, I think it's kind of ironic here, the situations. The Mets, they need to, normally they sit on their hands. They don't do anything at the trade deadline. They need to go out and get a bat. And the Yankees, meanwhile, normally they're the most aggressive. Brian Cashman said he's not going to go out and get a lot of players. He's going to stay pat at the trade deadline. I just find that kind of ironic that you're doing that.
Yeah, that's a great point you make. It is ironic. I can't believe I'm agreeing with you, but it's a role reversal. The Mets are the team that's always developed, and not buying anything. This time, the Yankees just need to stand pat, and the Mets need to make a statement and make a big move. Get a bat, because their offense is historically weak.
I absolutely agree. The Yankees are keeping all their prospects in check. AAA slugger Aaron Judge, right-handed pitcher Luis Severino. They can't let those guys go. And Rob Refsnyder recently came up and contributed. They got to keep them. And we are now getting live footage of a game that just went final out in New York. The Yankees and the Tigers. A-Rod chasing history. The fans looking to record history. A-Rod wouldn't disappoint. Bottom of the first, 2 outs. and A-Rod delivers like the pizza boy. A solo shot to right. That would make it a 1-0 game. His 13th homer on the season. He would be the 29th player to 3,000, and Wade Boggs and Derek Jeter are the only other players to homer for that milestone. The game wasn't over, 2-2, bottom of the 5th. Brett Gardner with a 2-run shot to right. That is his second consecutive game with a home run. He would make it 4-2. Top of the 8th now, starting pitcher Adam Warren ends his night in style. One of his 7 strikeouts on the night. And A-Rod and the Yanks would go on to win this one 7-2.
Wow, remarkable.
And now, I'd like to take a moment to talk about a pressing topic in sports. Let me give you a hypothetical. A man hits his wife in the face with a car door in front of his children and receives a suspended jail sentence, a fine, community service, and house arrest. This same man goes on to amass 7 assaults against 5 different women in a 14-year span. The kicker? Forbes recently named him the highest paid athlete of 2015. Folks, this is no hypothetical. It's time for the governing bodies of boxing to realize that Floyd Money Mayweather must be banned from the sport for his heinous acts against women. He clearly has not learned his lesson, and as long as he continues to make money in the ring, he will not stop endangering the lives of women out of the ring. He's a puncher? More like a gutless human being. I don't know about you, but watching him box is a punch in my gut.
You make a really great point. Obviously, Mayweather's looked at as a hero to many. Great boxer, maybe the best of his time, but it is sickening to think about what he does to women. It's weird to agree with you, but I think you hit that right on the head. Floyd Mayweather is not so much of a hero, more of just a scum.
Something I feel really strongly about.
Yeah. The domestic violence issue continues to plague the National Football League. Greg Hardy recently signed an $11.3 million contract with the Dallas Cowboys, despite being accused of choking his former girlfriend and throwing her onto a pile of assault weapons. Hardy was convicted at trial, but the charges were dropped on appeal after the victim decided not to testify. On July 10th, Hardy's initial 10-game suspension was reduced to just 4 games. First a new contract, then a reduced punishment. Not exactly a strong message to stand against domestic violence. Tom Brady will miss the same number of games for deflating a couple of balls. It's time for the NFL to strengthen its slap-on-the-wrist response to off-the-field violence. Sports have long been a major force in shaping our society. It's time for the NFL to lend its overwhelming cultural influence to a potentially life-saving cause.
You know, I'll tell you what, man. We don't agree often on this show, but I 100% agree with you. Domestic violence has no place in sports.
No.
It really doesn't. And as long as these weak punishments and with Mayweather flat ignoring it continue to happen, it's not going to disappear. Yeah. For my parting shot, I'm going to talk about a great fan. You may remember comedian Jim Brewer from his days as an SNL cast member known for the character Goat Boy and his Joe Pesci impersonation. But nowadays, when he's not performing stand-up comedy, die-hard Met fan Brewer is posting online video recaps of Mets games for fans to enjoy. He recaps nearly every game in a comedic manner. Win or lose, you have to admire that fanaticism. You really do. For all of us here at The Big Show, we'd like to wish a belated happy birthday to our associate producers, Craig D'Amico and Heidi Cerroti. To our viewers, we just want to let you guys know that as much as we do on air, everybody behind set and all of our producers are absolutely integral to how this show is run. For all of us here at The Big Show, we'd like to wish you a good night and thanks for joining in.
I'm Liam Quinn. He's John Dowling. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Robin, but still, Robin.